The fun of Baldur's Gate 3 relies on variations of success and failure when you roll the dice. But what if you wanted to play Baldur's Gate 3 with weighted dice that could nudge those odds more in your favor? Karmic Dice is actually turned on by default, so in this video we'll explain to you exactly what Karmic Dice is and how to turn it off if you don't want it. You'd be forgiven for not knowing what Karmic Dice was if you haven't been immersed in the game's early access. Basically, Karmic Dice is a sort of bad luck protection in Baldur's Gate 3.
You sense Nir's frustration, tinged with rage.
It's a setting that effectively manipulates dice rolls to prevent characters, both player-controlled and NPC, from having long streaks of good or bad rolls. So if you've been rolling especially bad lately, the setting will put a little finger on the scale to tip it in your favor, but it also seems to work against you. If you're having a long streak of good rolls, Karmic Dice will opt to try and end that streak. In a previous patch during early access, Larian Studios introduced a weighted dice setting to avoid streaks of success or failure during your gameplay rolls, including attack rolls, saving throws, and dialogue roll moments. The concept seemed great for breaking up consecutive failures, but it did not feel as good for breaking up consecutive successes in your rolls. Based on this community feedback, the team further refined this initial change in a later update, which is now called Karmic Dice. To assist players with their hit chance, Karmic Dice is designed to bend RNG in the rolling character's favor for those attack rolls, saving throws, and dialogue roll moments. One thing to note about this design is that it also applies to NPCs and enemies, which means they can also land those critical hits on you during combat for additional damage. If you'd rather test your luck with RNG without any adjustments, which is more in line with how you would experience a true D&D session in the real world, the good news is that Karmic Dice is entirely optional for Baldur's Gate 3. Again, if you don't know what Karmic Dice is, there's a good chance you're already playing with it on, as it defaults to toggled on when you first play the game. So here's how to disable it. Go to the title screen and enter the Options menu. Under the Gameplay tab, scroll down to User Options. Find the checkbox next to Karmic Dice and toggle the setting off. Apply the changes and you're all set to play without Karmic Dice bending the results of your rolls. If you change your mind later, follow the same steps to toggle Karmic Dice back on. For more on Baldur's Gate 3, make sure to check out our videos on how to build your next Baldur's Gate 3 character, alongside with how to respec your characters early on. And for everything else video games, stick with IGN.